Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. To begin, I would like to congratulate the government of Kazakhstan, all secretariats and executive committee endeavoring to make this prestigious congress a success. This scholarly gathering has indeed provided a platform to sharing of knowledge between attenders in the most meaningful way. Malaysia welcomes the theme of this year Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions, the role of leaders of world and traditional religions in the spiritual and social development of human civilization in the post-pandemic period. First of all, Malaysia is a multi-faith country. Islam is practiced by 61.3% of Malaysian population. The second largest religion practiced in Malaysia is Buddhism, followed by Christianity and Hinduism. While all Malay are legally Muslim, the majority of Chinese and Indians are Buddhists and Hindus, respectively. The indigenous people are mostly Christian and Muslim. In dealing with COVID-19, Malaysia is fully committed in managing, overcoming, and recovering from this deadly pandemic. No one is safe unless everyone is safe. We must fight this battle together. Our common mission is these unprecedented times call us to recognize that humankind is one extant family. It is that spirit that we in Malaysia have consciously referred to ourselves as Keluarga Malaysia, or what we call Malaysia family. As introduced by our Prime Minister, together and putting aside our differences, we will protect life and livelihood. We will ensure that Malaysia will not only bounce back, but will thrive as the world emerges from the depth of the pandemic. Malaysia has always been a firm believer in all efforts and initiatives that promote peaceful coexistence between nations, between different people, and between different faiths and cultures. Today, Malaysia is proud home of a multicultural and multi-religious democracy, the longest running and uninterrupted one in the history of the modern Muslim world. While the Muslims form the majority and with strong adherence to Islam, the religious, linguistic, cultural, and socio-economic rights of citizens of other faiths are not only tolerated but celebrated. The unique tolerance, which we call muhibbah, from the Arabic word hope, meaning love, poses certain challenges to our national integration aspiration, but we are able to transcend its limitation. We are an example of unity in diversity. The people and the government realize the great practical importance in rejecting all forms of extremism, radicalism, and terrorism. Hence, we are able to conduct our daily activities without fearing for our life, unlike in some other countries. There are many interrelated factors that lead to extremism, radicalism, wars, and terrorism. In a globalized world, radicalism and extremism and their impact on international relations and security are not only limited to Muslims, but also to those who profess other religions and secular ideologies. These have been justified often wrongly in the name of religion, ideology, king, country, ethnic, linguistic, purity, or even humanity. In the context of Malaysia, our focus is on the rooting Muslim extremism, radicalism, and terrorism. These phenomena have victimized not only those who were directly targeted, but also Muslims worldwide and stoke the lingering embers of Islamophobia. To deroot a tree is not enough to merely uproot it from the ground, because the remaining roots may yet be alive and will continue to grow and spread. Therefore, we need to identify the factors. One of the internal factors is extremism, what we call in Arabic ghulu. Extremists and radicals interpret the Sharia ruling almost literally without due recognition of their maqasid and their historical context as well as the contemporary conditions. There are also external factors that have significantly contributed to the rise of Muslim extremism, radicalism, and terrorism worldwide. By external factor, we mean persistent attacks on Islam and the Muslim in various shapes and forms. In our time, vicious attack on the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, unjustified criticism against a Muslim attempt to live according to the basic tenet of the Sharia, and discrimination against fellow Muslim occur almost daily. Muslim religious freedom in some liberal Western countries, which champion global human rights, multiculturalism, and tolerance, appears to increasingly restricted under various pretexts. This repeated incident of Islamophobia and the double standard on Islam and Muslim will be used by Muslim extremists and militants to recruit new members worldwide. In conclusion, I would like to underline that extremism, radicalism, and terrorism are not only motivated by misguided religious orientation, but also by misplaced secular, tribal, and other human interests and affiliation. We all shoulder the responsibility to deroot all elements of these negative trends by addressing both the internal and external factor concurrently with all seriousness. Extremism, radicalism, and especially terrorism have always been condemned in traditional Islamic teaching and practices. Finally, Malaysia strongly condemns terrorism in all its form and manifestation. This world cannot be allowed to be turned into a fertile breeding ground for terrorism. The pandemic has shown that we need to improve our resolve to strengthen international cooperation and multilateralism and consider ourselves as a family of nations. At the same time, the world family must be made more peaceful, prosperous, sustainable, and equitable. We must close and ranks and enhance our unity and cohesion. We must live in peaceful coexistence. Only then we have a chance to succeed. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamu alaikum.